Good afternoon, Tampa Bay. We're back again, the DuPont Registry Tampa Bay magazine and its monthly or weekly Tampa Bay Talks podcast. We got a great program today. We have Thaddeus Bullard, who runs the Bullard Family Foundation, is a former professional athlete, but are you ever former? You're always a professional athlete, I think. So he's a big motivator, coordinator, creator, connector in the Tampa Bay area. And Thad, welcome to the show today. Thank you for taking the time to visit with us.
Thank you for having me on.
So, Thad, tell us a little bit about, you grew up in Tampa? No.
No, I actually was born in Boynton Beach, Florida, which is down in South Florida near Boca Raton. And then at 12 years old, I went to a place called the Florida Sheriff's. Well, just before my 12th birthday, I went to a place called the Florida Sheriff's Boys Ranch up in Live Oak, Florida, and stayed there until I graduated from high school. And so I was born in Boynton Beach, but I like to tell people I was raised in Live Oak. So I was born in the city and raised in the country. So I got a little bit of both worlds. And I've been in Tampa now since 2005. And moved here, played with the Storm for a little bit, and my brother-in-law, Ernest Graham, was playing for the Bucks as well at the time, and so we all just kind of made Tampa home.
Well, Tampa's been able to attract people like you ever since I came here in 1976, which is almost before everybody I know was born. But you grew up in Florida. Since I've been here for 76, I like to call myself a transplanted native. Floridian. So we watched Tampa change over the years, and you know, frankly, it's been for the better, with the exception of 5:30 traffic in the afternoon.
Yeah.
That's fun. So Thad, you're a Gator, I understand.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I played football at the University of Florida from 1996 to 2001. Won a national championship there under Coach Steve Spurrier, and graduated from the University of Florida as well. And I am a proud Gator alum, still very active with the university in various capacities. And my most recent endeavor with the university was to serve as their commencement speaker. Although we had to do it virtually, it was still a great opportunity to give back to the Gator Nation. And hopefully when COVID completely removes itself from our society, which is my true hope, and not just to decline cases, but to find a cure and just dismantle it all together. Hopefully next year I'll be able to actually perform the commencement speech in Ben Hill Griffin Stadium at the University of Florida.
Well, I'm sure you consider that a great honor to address all those graduates, even virtually. And I know they appreciate your insight into life and your career. And just give us a 2-minute description of what it's like to be on the practice field and then jump in that huddle when, how many people in Ben Hill?
90,000.
90,000 people are hollering as loud as they can, and you're walking on that field. Chills all up and down your body.
Yeah, I mean, just even running out of the tunnel before games is an electric feeling. The band's out there, alum are out there, all in a line. We're in the tunnel getting ready, especially for a primetime game, whether it be mid-afternoon versus Tennessee or at night versus LSU, or obviously in a situation where we can beat up on one of the Florida schools, whether it be Miami or Florida State. It's always a great feeling to be able to go out, run out in front of those 90,000 rabid fans that we like to call the Gator Nation. And the Swamp is just one of the hottest places and one of the craziest places to play college football and all of sport, NCAA football. To have that opportunity to run down that tunnel and to put my hand in the grass at the University of Florida with some phenomenal athletes and some phenomenal coaches during my tenure there has been nothing short of a treat and has provided me with memories that I'll never forget.
Well, Thad, you're like a sponge. You've absorbed a lot from some great people, coaches and players and other inspirational leaders, and your very small family. I think your mom, and she must have been a great inspiration to you off the field.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my mom, for those that don't know, my complete backstory, I'm a product of a sexual assault. My mother was raped at 11, had me at the age of 12 against the wishes of many. And it was a struggle for her as a single mother, not only to raise me, but also to raise my 3 younger brothers that came not too long after me. But she, had the courage to tell people that she wasn't getting an abortion, that she would just see it through, and took the chance that, she may not have a place to stay. But she did everything she could to make ends meet for us. Most of those times those ends never met, but our house was, wherever our home was, it was never lacking love. I saw my mom give to people when she didn't have much to give herself. And so that, if I say, if there was one characteristic that my mother instilled in me, it was giving to those that you can invest in others when others essentially don't have anything to invest in themselves.
Well, I know that's the basis for the Bullard Family Foundation, is how to give to those who need a little help and reach out and lend them a hand. And what great work you've done here in our community. So with that, tell us a little bit about your book. There's No Such Thing as a Bad Kid.
Yeah, There Is No Such Thing as a Bad Kid is a book that I authored last year. The title of it was derived from a conversation that I had at 12 years old. I was getting ready to get kicked off of the Florida Sheriff's Boys Ranch. And, the decision had actually been made for me to be dismissed from the Boys Ranch because I had signed a contract to not get into any more fights. And 30 minutes after that, I got into a fight. So the decision was made. I was going to go back to Point Beach, Florida. And Patrick Minot went against the wishes of everyone that was in the room. And he asked me that question, why do you think you get into trouble all the time? And I said, I don't know, man. I'm just a bad kid. And he said, there's no such thing as a bad kid. And I said, how can you say that? I've been labeled a kid that would be dead or in jail by the time I was 16. I'm getting ready to get sent home off of the Boys Ranch, and it seemed like I can't get out of my own way. And he said, well, I'm not going to give you the answers to that because I truly believe in my heart that you're going to come up with the answer for yourself. But in the meantime, I love you and I believe in you. And at the time, a lot of people had told me that they loved me, but then turn around and abuse me, etc. But nobody had ever told me that they believed in me. And it was that conversation that kind of helped me start learning that I needed to believe in myself, and I needed to apply myself more and start accepting the help that was being given to me as help and not as a hindrance.
It's amazing the little small moments in life that change the outcome. And there you are, faced with going out the door and probably a downhill slide, and somebody reaches out and lends you a hand and says, no, there's something more to life than this. We're blessed that somebody touched you that way. And I know that the purpose of the Bullard Family Foundation is to have you touch young people that way, so they know that somebody cares for them and loves them and wants to give them a hand, and that they may have gotten themselves in trouble a couple times, got in a couple fights or something, but there's no such thing as a bad kid. What a great title to a book. I'm looking forward to reading my copy and hearing what you have to say. The Bullard Family Foundation, and let's talk about it a little bit. You left football and got into wrestling.
Yeah.
That must have been quite an experience. How many matches did you wrestle?
I don't know exactly how many numbers of matches that I've wrestled. It's been a lot over the last 11 years. This career in WWE was not something that I envisioned myself doing, but I took a chance of walking in the back doors of what was then called FCW down on Southdale Mabry, and now it's NXT. It's a global brand, but cutting my teeth into the wrestling business at that school, and it was there, that I kind of left there and ended up being assigned to Friday Night SmackDown, and then obviously I've been on Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown for the last 11 years. It's been a great ride. It was a very difficult transition, not simply because of the physical aspect, but also the travel. I think people see us on television on Mondays and Fridays, not realizing that we're also having shows on Saturday and Sundays. And so there's a lot of travel involved in this job, and we travel not just domestically, but internationally as well. And with a target market of 160 countries weekly, 35 different languages across the globe. We are the longest running episodic television shows. I say shows because Raw is the longest running episodic television show in television history, and SmackDown is the second longest episodic television show in television history. So to be able to have that type of reach, I've been able to travel, obviously, across the globe several times since my time in it. And for a kid or a man now that grew up with not much of anything, even travel outside of the county, now to know that I've had these world experiences and being able to see different cultures and taste different foods. And I haven't quite mastered learning different languages yet because I'm not there long enough. But to see how people interact and how families are brought together in front of televisions and in arenas all over the globe because of our product in WWE is a pretty special feeling in itself.
That's quite a career. I mean, unbelievable to have gone from the Gator Nation to the football field to the WWE, and now right here making your home in Tampa. I know that I think 2020 this year, maybe back in the fall, you were a finalist for the ESPN Sports Humanitarian Award, a very special recognition of what you do.
Yeah, actually, it was just this Sunday was the actual, I guess, announcement of the winner. I was in a class with some very phenomenal athletes that have utilized their platforms to change lives in amazing ways. Kevin Love from the Cleveland Cavaliers, Nelson Cruz, who won the award, the ESPN Muhammad Ali Sports Humanitarian of the Year Award. Nelson Cruz has done phenomenal work as well from the Minnesota Twins. Maya Moore, who took a year off of her career to fight for social justice, and the McCourty twins from the New England Patriots also were rounded out the list of candidates along with myself. All great people doing amazing work in their respective spaces. And to have this platform with ESPN and the ESPYs and to share it with those individuals out of all the thousands of athletes that could have been nominated, it came down to us four. So that's pretty special in itself.
Well, it's remarkable to be a finalist is really something, and that's a competitive. Not that something that people actually reach out to do, but competitive based on the record of what people have been able to accomplish, and to be selected as one of the finalists is a true honor. And thank you for all you do. In case I forget to say that, it's really quite remarkable, all the stuff that you've been able to accomplish so far. I think you got something on the agenda coming up really soon, though, that you hope will have.
This Saturday, June 27th. It'll start at Curtis Hickson Park and end up at Riverfront Park with the unveiling of a new love wall that will be displayed in an area in Tampa. There will also be one that will be displayed at Riverfront Park as well that day. But it's a walk that has it's a love walk that what I hope to accomplish is that there have been so many different protests and boycotts and etc. This is an opportunity for the community, the business community, the private community, families, etc., to come together and walk over a very significant bridge, being the Fortune Taylor Bridge, which has great history, and that'll be explained on the day of the walk as well. And walking over the systemic issues that have plagued our country and including our city for years when it comes to race and diversity issues. And hopefully walking into a new path and not walking based on political affiliation, not walking based on position of power, not walking based on the color of someone's skin, but truly walking in love because they want to see change, and they want to see change, and they want to be a part of that change. And so this walk is actually a pledge for everyone that participates, whether they do it virtually or physically. It's a pledge to say that I want to make our world a better place, and I'm going to start right here in Tampa.
You know, the longest journey starts with a single step, and you're going to make a lot of steps on Saturday. What time's the walk start?
The walk starts at 10 a.m. I would strongly encourage everyone. I'm actually asking, as it is a mandate now by the city, for everyone to wear masks to continue to hopefully curb the rise of COVID cases. Bring water. If you don't have water, we'll have water there, bottles of water that have been generously donated by Nestle. So we'll have water with different watering stations that people can pick up water, whether it be in the beginning of the route or in the middle of the route or towards the end. So we'll definitely keep some people hydrated. You know, it's obviously Florida, so that's one of the main concerns. But bring your families out and you know, bring as many people as you want. Invite folks to it. I think it can be a very powerful display of love and unity for our community. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone out that comes out this Saturday.
Thad, just so that people listening and watching would know about how long is this going to take, because I think some people get a little bit nervous about taking a big long the sunshine.
Yeah, the walk is not long at all. It's right at a little bit under a mile, and my plan is, because I don't want to be there all day either. The total event will go from 10 to 12, with everybody being pretty much dispersing out of there about 12 o'clock, so that everybody can go and enjoy their family for the rest of the Saturday afternoon.
Well, that's a great way to do it. What a great way to start Saturday, to go out and walk for love, and get somewhere and see this new wall that you're unveiling, and participate in making the community better tomorrow than it is today. And your leadership in this area is really appreciated by everybody in Tampa, and also, I might add, around Florida and around the world, because you're going to get some publicity out of this, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not looking for that. I am looking for, but if the publicity sparks other people in other communities to do the same, then I'm all for it. But my main reasoning and heart behind doing this is to truly bring people together. I've seen so much division for years, especially now in times like this, where, you know, because of a few bad apples in law enforcement, then the entire picture of law enforcement and politicians has been painted as dark and black. And that's not the case. There are a lot of law enforcement officers that wake up every single morning to do exactly what their oath calls for them to do, which is to protect and serve. And so I honor that mission and that commitment, just as well as I honor anyone that chooses to serve our country in the military and within any branch of the military. Our first responders are important, and in the event that one or two do something heinous, like what happened up in Minnesota with George Floyd, that obviously will put a black eye on a lot of people, but it should not put dump everyone into a black hole. So hopefully this walk will give everyone an opportunity to see the importance of everybody working together, walking together, understanding that sometimes we're not going to always be on the same page, but as long as we're being respectful and understanding, then that's how true change and progress can happen.
Change comes from a lot of hands trying to work together, not against each other. And when you hold hands, although we can't hold hands very much anymore right at the moment because of COVID, when you hold hands and walk forward, everybody moves at the same pace. And we need a lot more of that in this country. And I, for one, as a citizen of Tampa and of the community, appreciate your leadership in this part, because honoring those who are our first responders and those who are supposed to protect us and the ones that do an extraordinarily good job is a great idea. And then involving everybody in the discussion of how we make the community better. My hat's off to you. This is something I'm glad that we're able to publicize this on Tampa Bay Talks. maybe we'll get a few more people out there for you. And we hope
Yes,
we
sir.
inspire to be there.
Yes, sir.
Thad, let's talk a little bit about the foundation. I looked on the website. You've got a very, very impressive list of not only directors but also sponsors. It's like a Chamber of Commerce list, and they've all supported your foundation, which is a great tribute to you and the work that the foundation's doing. Can you elaborate a little bit on a couple of your key sponsors and folks that we should give some recognition to that help you out?
Well, I mean, one of the main partners that I would like to say has been very good to us, and we've been very good to them, is Hillsborough County Public Schools. To be able to do the work, we have to be able to have the manpower and sometimes the facility space and staff members that are willing to, go along with something that's essentially not their vision. It may be my vision, but I need help in order to bring that to fruition. There are several of my board members that are involved in business and own businesses. Those like Rob Elder with Elder Ford and Chris Blowers with Grinders and George Ludich, who formerly is of Paragon, and Daniel Abuju. I always mess up his name, Abujadu. Who I always mess up his name, but he's with Skanska Construction Company. You have Alan Green with Vision. The list goes on. Publix has been a great supporter of ours. Concord Career Institute has been a great partner of ours. McKibben Hotel and Hospitality Group has been a great partner of ours. PDQ has been a great partner of ours. So, Fabrici, Jeff Gigante, the list goes on and on of people that have been just extremely phenomenal to us. Those at iHeartRadio have been great to us as far as getting the message out. Tim Marks and his great staff of Metropolitan Ministries, Thomas Mance and his great staff of Feeding Tampa Bay. We all are working to make this this community collectively better on all fronts. The Boys and Girls Club, who we lost Chris Latos, but we got another great interim CEO and Keith Harris, who is also on my foundation board. A lot of people from a lot of different walks of life that we can proudly say that we not only support, but they support us, from the Lightning to the Bucks to the Rays to the Yankees. Everyone is kind of working all and I would be remiss if I didn't say to the city of Tampa leaders, Jane Castor, Brian Dugans, Chad Chronister, and the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. The list, again, I could be here all day naming people that I'm so supportive of. Obviously none of this stuff is possible to manage without having a great team, and I have a great executive director in Fong Nguyen. And some brand manager and Ricky Saylor, and the attorney in Mario Torres, and just a bunch of great volunteers that kind of help all of us lead the direction.
You've assembled an impressive group of volunteers and supporters. It's really astounding, and in such a short period of time. I know that the foundation has sponsored some other events for children around the community. Are there some that are on the calendar that we can look forward to, or is it old because?
Yeah, so we're gonna have our back to school bash. We usually have it. The last couple of years we've had it at Raymond James Stadium, obviously, and it draws over 30,000 people to it. But obviously, we can't draw crowds like that right now with COVID-19 being in existence. So we're going to do something a lot different this year, but I think it'd be cool. We're going to do it virtually. It'll emanate live from the Amalie Arena, and we're partnered with Microsoft, and they're going to kind of help us with basically having different rooms that people can check in at different times. So you might have ex-celebrities reading a book to a kindergarten class, and you might have ex-celebrity reading to a first grade class. There'll be different shout outs and stuff and raffle prizes, etc., where schools can win pizza parties. They can win, an experience, maybe going to the Florida Aquarium. We'll have a DJ, DJ Dela Cruz, who will kind of be having a little bit of a dance party. So doing all this stuff, and then obviously we'll partner with Advent Health as well to make sure that these kids that needed a physical will be able to get a certificate so that they can go to any healthcare provider or CVS or Walgreens to get their physical to get ready to go back to school. Like I say, everybody's had to make an adjustment. We'll be purchasing thousands of backpacks with school supplies to get put out into several of the schools, the 29 turnaround schools in the Hillsborough County School District, and make sure that they're equipped going in with the necessary tools in order to start their school year off right, and hopefully continue this trend of being able to help make transformative change instead of making transactional advances.
Well, it seems like you got a lot of programs, and you're going to be touching a lot of youngsters who need some help, and also showing them the way to go forward and teaching them about love and friendship and how to help others and setting an example. It's extraordinary, Thad. Your story is heartwarming and inspirational, to say the least. And I know it's going to have an impact over a long period of time, even over a short period of time. It's going to have an impact. You're going to get in front of one child, and you're going to be able to affect how they feel about life and inspire them to go forward and make a difference in their community. So God bless you on that. I wanted you to know, and so many people that I work with know this circumstance behind a fellow named Jimmy Lee. When I was raised in Wilmington, Delaware, I went to a very nice little private school, pretty well protected. Jimmy Lee was the janitor, and he spoke broken English. And Lee, I think, was short for his real last name. He was a gentleman, and he taught a lot of us little kids running around the hallways about life, and about there were things that were important. And he always had hello, always had a good afternoon, always able to show you where to pick up something in the hallway that needed to be moved. And he just inspired you to be a little bit more thoughtful and a little bit better about life. Jimmy was born in 1911 and lived only till 1956, so he was in his 40s when he passed away. But he made an impact on young children just by doing his job and by the way he conducted himself. So at that school, in recognition of Jimmy's impact on everybody's life there, they put up a plaque and put up Jimmy's favorite motto, saying, for everybody to enjoy. To this day, that plaque is still there, inspiring youngsters in that school. And it's just 4 lines. Pretty interesting that a fellow like this would have an impact. I carry one of these cards around in my pocket, and if I see you soon, which I hope to, I'll give you one of my little plaques. Jimmy Lee's words are: to look up and not down, to look forward and not back, to look out and not in, and to lend a hand. Well, that's synonymous with the Bullard Family Foundation, I think. Really, words to live by, words to inspire you, and words to communicate to others. So Thad, once again, thank you for all you do for the Tampa Bay area. And thank you for being with us, taking time out of your busy day to visit on Tampa Bay Talks. I'm sorry we had to do it by Zoom. We'll do it in person one day soon. Thank goodness we have Zoom. Otherwise, what would we do? Yeah. Always better to be together in person. So good luck. I hope you get a good crowd this weekend. And I hope that the weather stays nice, not too hot. And everybody is able to come away from the Walk for Love, the Love Walk, inspired to do more for their fellow man. Sure. I appreciate your time, and it's Tom DuPont with the DuPont Registry Tampa Bay here on Tampa Bay Talks with our special guest today, Thad Bullard, and head of the Bullard Family Foundation, and a great leader in our community. Thad, thanks so much for your time today. Hope that the rest of your day is blessed, and all my final message to everybody is go out and make it a great day, Tampa Bay.